Hello everyone, it's me, Clayton. I just got back from watching Christopher Robin, directed by Mark Forster and starring Ewan McGregor, Haley Atwell, Jim Cummings, and Brad Garrett. But let's get to the story, shall we? The story is an extension of the classic Winnie the Pooh stories, where Christopher Robin has grown up into a successful businessman for a luggage company. And while he has to deal with a very important job that could risk the jobs of his fellow co-workers, he once again meets the beloved bear Winnie the Pooh, voiced expertly by his old voice actor Jim Cummings. Pooh has lost all of his friends in the Hundred Acre Wood, and he needs Christopher Robin's help to find them all, as Robin himself rediscovers the joy of his life and the joy of his childhood nostalgia as he tries to get this very important thing done. But now, I won't spoil anything else, but the way the story is told basically happens to harken back to the childhood nostalgia of Winnie the Pooh, and it happens to look at Christopher Robin's character in a completely new way that I didn't think they'd ever go for. Now, it is true that the story of the film is very similar to other films about a beloved character becoming an adult and learning for him to become a kid again, with films like Hook, but Ewan McGregor, in my opinion, pulls it off a bit better than Robin Williams did as Peter Pan. Mainly because the film has unlike Hook, where it's just a little bit at the beginning, where Robin Williams is an overworked businessman, here you get to see that for a good chunk of the film before he even meets Pooh for the first time in years. You get to see the gradual process of how it happens, and we get to see how much it affects him, his wife, his daughter, and the other people around him. So, even though the film can be a little too fast for its own good and a little too busy in certain areas, it does get a lot of things right. Now, I will say that it could be paced a little better, because it seems like at certain times the film goes a little too fast and a little too loose for its own good, but it's not too bad since there are moments when it knows when to slow down for the more emotional moments, or for the moments when there isn't a lot of chaotic action necessary. Now, some people might find the film a little dreary given the cinematography and the music involved in certain scenes, but I think it's more melancholic in a way. Mainly a way to show how Christopher has lost his childhood visions and how he's slowly regaining them throughout the story. And it especially is helpful when it comes to the voice cast of the lovable characters that we've all known as children. Jim Cummings, of course, again comes back as Winnie the Pooh and Tigger, and in my opinion, he does a great job as usual, as both characters feel like exactly they've always been for years on end. Brad Garrett is also incredibly funny as Eeyore. I think he has some of the best lines in the film, and he's an absolutely great replacement for the guy he replaced from the original series. And the rest of the characters and voice actors do their roles well enough, even though it seems like certain characters like Kanka and Roo only get a couple of lines before their part's done in the film entirely. But then again, they didn't have much to do in the original shorts either, so that's not exactly a big issue. I was surprised at how much his wife Evelyn and his daughter Madeline got to do, though. His wife's played by Haley Atwell, who you might remember as Agent Peggy Carter. I thought the film would mostly just concern itself with Christopher Robin's midlife crisis, but it actually gave Evelyn and Madeline a decent part in the plot, too, and their plot doesn't distract from the film, and they don't take over entirely, but it does pace out the film well in the second and third acts, and their contributions are important to the story. Lastly, I will say that the film is overall just a nostalgic throwback in every great way, from the old-timey British sense of humor to the dialogue that Pooh has, to there even being certain songs that are reprised from the original series. We get to hear Tigger's song again, and it sounds absolutely great. We get to see images and references to various moments from the series that a lot of longtime fans will remember. So if you're a big fan of Winnie the Pooh, this one's a must-watch. But if you're a non-fan, just keep in mind that this is a very much a Disney style film. And if you're okay with the tone of that, you'll enjoy it. And if you don't like it, then you won't. For me, I got a lot of nostalgia, a lot of heart out of it. So I'll give Christopher Robin an 8 out of 10. See you next time.